episode 385 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. No matter where during this pandemic you are playing it, as long as it is 6 feet away from someone else.
Hey, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's show, we are going to talk a lot about M21 Core Set 2021 for Magic because the previews are out in full force. And even though it's a core set, there is some really sweet stuff hiding inside this core set.
That's right. It's Core Set Teferi, everybody.
There's a lot of sweet stuff hiding inside this core set, just like when I wear a core set. Sorry.
Well, you said that.
But yeah, it is core set Teferi. Yeah. There's like a lot of Teferis in this set, not only like on the card and references to Teferi, but also the art of Teferi. They've got a bunch of different
So many Teferi arts. Exactly. Because Teferi exists across so many different timelines because he's traveled in time so many times.
Yeah, Teferi's just everywhere. And a bunch of reprints in this set as well that are super powerful, impactful cards. So those will be shaking up Standard, I hope, anyway, because we're also going to mention how Standard right now feels a little bit boring, even despite the Commander rules change.
Right.
I mean, the Companion rules change.
There was also a Commander rules change this past week.
That's true.
Which is why Commander Companion. Anyways, it is warm in my apartment, everybody. My brain is it's like slugging through it. It's like a swamp in there, and I'm just like pushing through the sludge as best I can.
It's like 95 degrees today in Minneapolis, which, I feel like it should be illegal for it to be that hot in Minnesota. It doesn't make any sense. Hello.
I have one baby little window unit that's trying to cool my whole apartment.
It's chugging along.
The whole place. Exactly. It's like really trying.
Oh,
That's all you can ask. That's all you can ask is that it really tries.
It's trying. And your cat is lying on the floor in her summer position, I imagine.
She is. She's really cute. Hold on, I have to take a photo of her.
I love how cats have their positions for the winter and their positions for the summer. So my cat Lear is very fluffy, and he will only on the porch. He will only sit under this one shaded area in the summer. He won't go anywhere else. He's like, no, this is my summer spot.
This is one of her favorite summer spots.
Oh, she looks really cute. If you're not watching the video of this, everybody, you are missing out on some cute Molly action.
Out. She's so cute.
She's so
Anyways.
Cute. Anyway, we're actually going to start the episode this week. Before we get into all that exciting stuff,
yes.
By giving you an update on stuff that's going on here in Minneapolis. Because
that's right.
We've got a bunch of exciting stuff we want to tell you about, and also some more ways that you can help out and everything. Thank you for all the positive feedback we got on last week's episode, and for everybody who went out and donated to some of the great causes we listed in the show notes. Big thumbs up to you.
If you are still looking for places to donate, one of the best places right now is called Northside Funders Group. You can find them at northsidefunders.org. And so they are raising money to repair fire damage in North Minneapolis, which is a predominantly Black neighborhood that has a lot of Black-owned businesses in it. And a lot of them were, especially in the later days of last week, there weren't even any protests up there. They were specifically targeted by arsonists. Businesses up there were, and they haven't gotten as much money as the Lake Street org, for instance. So if you're looking for somewhere to donate, it is a very good place.
Yeah.
Northsidefunders.org.
We've got the link in the show notes to make it easy for you as well. And, something that I think, too, can spur people to donate is if you have something particular that you are really interested in. You don't have to have this, but this is kind of neat. You can always find a group that is suited to your interest and something you want to help support. If you're oh, I'm really into computer programming, or I'm a nerd, so let's support Black girls who code or whatever. You can find an organization out there that aligns with your interests, which I think is really cool. That one, for instance, is excellent. And if you're oh, I'm an artist, well, I I'm going to support Black artists. Or there's a bunch of people who are making murals on the buildings that have been boarded up here in Minneapolis, and they're just beautiful. And hopefully they'll be preserved after this and after they're taken down. But there's a bunch of groups who are collecting money to give to artists to make those murals, which is something that's like near and dear to my heart. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to support that cause. That's another way that you can do that.
Yeah. Last week, we also talked about a bunch of different anti-racist reading that you can do. And this is just a note to check. A lot of libraries right now are making the ebook and audiobook versions of some of those books available without a wait list. So instead of having to wait for months and months, well, you're waiting to get an ebook copy or an audiobook copy, you can get it right now. So check and see if your library is doing that.
Yes, that is awesome. I recently found a book that I'm just in love with that I wanted to recommend to you. It's called Homie by Danez Smith, and it's poetry. And I've been recently thinking, oh, I need to get some more poetry books. I love poetry. And I heard this poem called My President read on NPR, and it was just incredible. And I was like, I need to get this book immediately. What a fantastic poem and an amazing book of poetry. So that's my personal shout out this week. So if you're into poetry, check that book out. That's my rec.
Nice. And in case you haven't seen, the Minneapolis City Council has said that it's moving forward with resolutions to defund and abolish the Minneapolis Police Department. And I just wanted to give a shout out and say, like, hey, don't let that, like, if you are sharing that info or talking with people about it, never let that be the only headline, because I feel like that lets all of those people come out of the woodwork and be like, well, what are you going to do if there's no cops to call? And it's not about like abolishing the police and then just being like, now there's nothing. It's abolishing the police and replacing it with like proven community safety measures and community programs that actually like support the root causes of a lot of the reasons why people call the police and are actually helpful to people. You can also look up things that like they call it like a people's budget, because it's about putting that money back into community programs as opposed to using all of it to fund the police. So yeah, when you're sharing those headlines, make sure you're like, hey, abolish the police. And like, it's not just like, oh, and then there's nothing. It's like, no, we're going to support our community with that money instead. And have things that like, yeah, actually like support people in crisis as opposed to, you know, using a solution that has historically not been a solution.
I mean, right. That's what people talk about. They talk about losing the police as if we're losing something that is functional, which is not the case. Not the case. And even if you want to apply it to your own life, people were asking on Twitter, like, what happened the times that you had to call the police in their life or that you did? And I was like, ooh, let me think about this. Oh, yeah. Every single time it was completely worthless and could have been handled so much better by somebody who was more specialized and specifically trained to the area that I was calling about. Right. So
yes, absolutely.
Think about that too.
So true.
So I'm really proud to be living in Minneapolis, at least making this change and this step forward, and to hopefully be the leader in the country on doing this and like making this a widespread reform. Which is pretty cool. Quickly, before we get into the show, we want to tell you to, if you haven't checked out the Upkeep this week, check it out. It's got all of the magic news you need in 10 minutes or less. Same place you find your podcast for Good Luck High Five. You can find the Upkeep there. And if you like both of our, offerings to you, you can help support us over on patreon.com/GLHFmagic. Big thank you to everybody who continues to support us and keep our show on the air, coming out of your cat's mouth every single month. Our Discord community has been an absolutely great place to be in these, tough times, and people going in there and just seeing people supporting each other, sharing articles, sharing information has been wonderful to see. And if you're a patron, you get access to that. So thank you so much for everybody who supports there and everybody who continues to or will in the future. And we got to thank Card Kingdom for being our sponsor. They're an amazing, amazing company. And I was just checking out their website here. They put out an open letter here that says they're donating and matching employee donations to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund through Card Kingdom and Mox Boarding House, which is just awesome. And another illustration of what a great place they are. Let's talk about Core Set 2021.
That's right. Look, first things first, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is that I was 3 for 3 in a spooky fashion on last week's predictions.
You were. Okay, Megan, tell us what the predictions were, and they were all right.
Yes. One was that specifically the Wizards of the Coast stream that happened. They said it was going to be on Thursday, but it ended up being on Friday because of the National Day of Mourning. But that it was specifically going to announce a dog, the change to dog from Hound, and it was going to have a dog lord.
Yep.
And that happened.
That came true.
That came true. That the Planeswalker was going to be from Amonkhet.
Yep. That's true.
And the new Planeswalkers from Amonkhet, and that the special protection would be protection from Planeswalkers.
Unbelievable.
Pretty. I feel spooky.
I mean,
I am the spooky.
You are the spooky, Megan. I feel
yes.
like they're gonna need to keep their eye on you. I don't know how you got all these right. But seriously,
I felt it in my bones.
You just knew it. And so stay tuned here for every release of a new set because Megan is going to call it correctly 100% of the time from now on because you got a perfect score.
Oh, man. What I did not see coming was some of these reprints.
Yes.
There are some all-time bangers.
That is
from Magic's
so
history.
True. So true. Just today, I was talking about the fact that Massacre Worm is showing up in M21.
Massacre Worm. If you had asked me if I don't think I would have named this card if you'd given me 50 to guess.
No way.
Maybe 50, I guess, but just a classic.
It's a classic in Cube. I draft it all the time. I love drafting mono black in Cube. In case you don't know what this card is, it's 3 black for a 6/5 mythic. And when it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until the end of turn. And whenever a creature an opponent control dies, that player loses 2 life. I love this card.
Dang. Great.
I love this worm. What can I say?
What can I say? I love this worm.
I mean, I feel like another reprint is right up your alley, Megan, in Solemn Simulacrum.
Yes, obviously. I love Solemn Simulacrum. Again, another one, such a good card, such a classic. And you just don't think that you're going to see classics like this reprinted in a core set sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so for 4 mana, you get a 2/2 artifact creature golem. When Solemn Simulacrum enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. When it dies, you may draw a card. I love it.
Yeah.
And we have a borderless art version of it as well.
Beautiful.
It's, real good looking. Good looking stuff.
Reprint that I personally hate is Ruined Halo, which is coming back. A card that's been destroying Boggles players since the beginning of time. White for an enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, choose a card name. You have protection from the chosen card name.
Wow. I have never worried about that card in my life, but I understand.
Yeah.
I understand why.
Yeah, pretty tough.
Why you're mad about it.
Pretty tough.
And why you would know about it.
And Grim Tudor is coming back. This is a classic.
Oh yeah, tell us about it.
All right, 1 black for sorcery. Search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. You lose 3 life.
This apparently has not been printed since 1999.
Wow.
And copies of it were about $100, I want to say.
Oh, holy
Someone
cow.
was saying.
Okay, well that's cool.
Right? Yeah.
What else?
For sure.
What else you got here for reprints that you're excited about?
Great question. Let's see.
I've got this one I'm not personally excited about. It's Containment Priest, but it exists, everybody.
Okay. I mean, obviously, for me, it's Eugene the Spirit Dragon.
That's the one I was fishing for.
I love Eugene. It's just and it's so, Eugene is so timeless that I don't think of him as a reprint.
Yeah.
He's a spirit dragon. He is forever and always.
I don't think of him as
reprint. You can't reprint something that's timeless.
It's a great point. That's a really good point.
But yeah, and I was so surprised when it was it's not only there's not only a new Eugene, but it's specifically Eugene the Spirit Dragon. Yes. Original
the OG
Eugene.
Yeah. This is incredible that this card is going to just be back in standard now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very excited.
Especially with all of the ways to ramp in Standard currently. Not even talking about the
Yeah.
fact that we also get Azusa Lost But Seeking reprinted in M21.
Oh, yeah. Also, something that I would not have anticipated by a long shot.
Yeah.
I love like the borderless art version of this with the legendary card frame on it. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I love the fact that these reprints are getting new art treatments in this set. Not only are they being reprinted, but they're beautiful. And if you're somebody that's like, oh, I have a special deck that I really like to put some time and energy into making beautiful, well, here's ways for you to do it.
Yeah. The borderless Eugene has like the wing that comes across the front of, like his wing comes across the front of the text box. It's so cool.
It's so cool. Speaking of reprints, can I just say 2 words to you, Megan? Are you ready?
Sure.
Bane Slayer Angel.
Oh, I know.
This is a pretty great 3 white for a 5/5. Iconic card here. Flying, first strike,
Yes.
lifelink, protection from demons and from dragons.
Oh, great.
Beautiful.
Really, really, really is. And like, of all the cards that they gave new art, I'm so glad that this isn't one of them, because this original art on it is so gorgeous.
Yeah, you can't beat it. You
like,
really
I can't imagine ever being like, hey, you want to redo this art? And I'd be like, no.
No need. Simply no need.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Should we talk about the 3 cards that you got right?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay.
First up is, we'll talk about the protection ones.
Okay.
Spark Hunter Masticore. 3 mana, 3/4. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card.
Okay.
Protection from planeswalkers. You can pay 1, Spark Hunter Masticore deals 1 damage to target planeswalker, or 3, Spark Hunter Masticore gains indestructible until end of turn. What a mean looking little friend.
This Masticore really hates planeswalkers.
It really hates planeswalkers.
Coming for you, little Teferi.
Like a lot. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm gonna munch. I'm gonna crunch.
The other thing I like about Masticores is I think this isn't the first one where you have to discard.
Yeah.
Which seems like a Masticore thing, which is kind of just a little neat aside about them.
Another Masticore thing.
Like, oh, that's our deal. You have to discard when you play us.
What's if you like, what are Masticore's things?
Discarding. Let's talk about this new Planeswalker too, and we'll get into the the fact that each color, by the way, has a Planeswalker representing it here in M21, and white is the color of the new Planeswalker, who is Basri Ket.
1 white, so 3 mana.
Nice.
For a 3 loyalty Planeswalker, you can +1 to put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. -2 whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn. Create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking.
Yeah.
Nice. And -6, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
I'm a big fan of this card.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that I'm a big fan. I'd like it on the record that I'm a big fan.
Oh, on the record. All right.
And I would like to play it with Luminous Broodmoth, please. Because Luminous Broodmoth does not care if your creatures are tokens. Wait. I guess it doesn't matter. No, never mind.
Yeah.
Strike that from the rule. Strike that from the rule book. But I think this card could make a splash. 3 mana planeswalkers notoriously find their way into standard. I'm trying to remember a 3 mana planeswalker that didn't.
I'm sure if we thought hard. I mean, if we're talking, as long as we're counting out War of the Spark.
Yeah.
There are plenty of 3 mana walkers that
that's
didn't
true.
from there.
That's true.
But yeah.
Traditionally.
Exactly. The one that comes to mind is like, the one that maybe made it in the least was the 3 mana Gideon that like made an emblem that you couldn't lose the game if you had a Gideon in play.
Yeah, he was like a sideboard
That one
walker.
was like that was like a corner case Gideon. Gideon, corner case.
Corner case Gideon.
But yeah, this definitely seems like they're trying to give a big boost to aggro, and specifically white-based aggro decks.
Yeah, I think that design has been feeling a little bit of pressure to make white a little less useless.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure and a little less useless.
And they're giving white card draw in this set, actually, which we'll get to in a second, which is kind of a big deal. Because first we got to talk about your third correct prediction, which was a dog lord, and we find it in Pack Leader.
Oh, a little mustache dog.
He has a beautiful mustache.
He really does. He's just so cute. So this is 1 and a white for a 2/2 creature dog. Other dogs you control get +1/+1. And whenever Pack Leader attacks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn to dogs you control.
Wow. That's really good.
Dang. It is really good. It's just a little tutu pupper.
And this is the pupper that can be your pet on Arena, by the way, if you buy both the Mastery Pass and the M21 pack.
Of course.
His name, I can't remember his name, but it's something very silly.
What's the pet for the Mastery Pass? Do we know yet?
Oh, good question. I don't actually. I don't remember.
Anyways.
I bought it the other day and I don't even remember. I'm a fraud.
I told myself that I was only ever going to get the one so that I have one pet. But
this dog, though.
I don't know. This dog is very cute.
This dog. Dog deck. I'm here for it. And I'm a cat person.
Dog deck. Anyways, yes. So yeah, I'm excited for this set. Core sets, they can go a lot of different ways.
Yep. Very true.
But I'm excited to see what this one brings.
I mean, they've gone a lot of different ways in the fact that as not only can they go in a lot of different ways, but they were like taken off the docket for a year there. Like Wizards is like, we're not going to print them anymore. And here they are back printing them again. And this one has a lot of bangers, as you said, in it, not only in the reprints, but lots of cards in here that could find their way into standard. I talked about white card draw. And the card that is on in M21 is Gaara the Diplomat. It's a 2/4 for 3 and a white. It's mythic, lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or a planeswalker you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. So this is Control's best friend here.
Oof. Yeah.
And Mark Rosewater talked about this. He said, he had a long-standing belief that white should not get card draw in the color pie. Just like, no, that's not white's thing. White has another thing. But recently, he has come around to the idea and said that card draw is so powerful that I believe it should not be just relegated to blue or whatever. And we should find other ways to make it still within flavor, but happening in the other colors too.
And like black, red, and green have had card draw for ages now.
Yeah, they have.
It was really just poor old white over there.
That's like, we just want to draw cards.
Yes.
Meghan,
yeah, we also get to see Liliana, Waker of the Dead.
Oh, sure. Her new art is beautiful.
It's really, really cool. 2 black for a 4 loyalty walker. +1, each player discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. -3, target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. And -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste.
Great. It's going in my Massacre Worm deck.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to pitch Massacre Worm, bring it back.
Of course, as I'm looking at the Liliana on Scryfall, right next to it is what I can, without a doubt, tell you is the most disgusting art in Core Set 2021.
This is what I know you're saying to me. I was like, Meghan, they literally spoiled what I believe to be the cutest card and the grossest card within minutes of each other. And this was...
It is so disgusting. It is an all-timer.
I think it is, too.
It is maybe the most disgusting card art of all time. It is... I can't think of anything that has given me the kind of reaction that this has.
Not even
Magnifying glass for me is like way up there.
Yeah.
This I think is above it.
Wow.
It is peer into the abyss. And it is a nightmare. I mean, not in its card type, it is a sorcery, but it is like I can't even describe it because the act of describing it would be too disgusting.
Okay, here's my go. It is a weird, gross, I don't know how to describe this person. Gross, goopy person who is gooping out from their mouth another gross, goopy copy of themselves. And from that mouth, it's gooping out another one. And not only from the mouth is it gooping, but the eyeballs.
But the eyes. It is... I can't keep looking. I had to scroll away. It is potentially the most disgusting card of all time.
By the way, you might think that too if it ends up being playable, even remotely playable in any format, because the effect is rather disgusting. For black, target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life, round up each time. So...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was the draw half your library card that we were talking about last week.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
But let's get a palate cleanser here with what I believe will end up being the cutest card in the set, which is Rin and Seri Inseparable.
They're so cute.
This is one of my favorite cards I think Wizards has ever printed. 1 red, green, white for a 4/4 legendary creature, dog cat. Amazing. Whenever you cast a dog spell, you make a 1/1 green cat creature token. Whenever you cast a cat spell, you make a 1/1 white dog creature token because they're best friends.
Aww.
And then they attack because they have an activated ability, which is Naya, tap. Rin and Seri Inseparable deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs you control, and you gain life equal to the number of cats you control.
It's so cute.
I love this card.
I love that every time you cast a dog, it gets a little cat friend.
I know.
Every time you cast a cat, it gets a little dog friend. It's it can't be by itself.
They've got to print some more dogs and cats to be in standard so we can make a dog cat deck in standard.
A dog cat deck.
I mean, you could definitely make this in Commander too. You can make a dog cat commander deck.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I love it. Yes, absolutely. Maria, you need a dog cat commander deck, honestly.
It's so good. Sorry, everybody. I'm just losing it over that card.
It's so cute. It's so cute. Maria, you don't feel like they're pandering to you with the cuteness?
I don't actually. I mean, they are, of course, but I don't feel it.
You've just decided that this time you don't feel pandered to.
I don't feel pandered to. Okay. I think maybe because the art's not sometimes I feel that way because the art is super extra mondo cartoony, you know?
Yeah.
And this art is fairly realistic.
It's pretty realistic.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We haven't talked much about the big guy that the set is all about. Which is Teferi, Master of Time.
I'm seeing this on Scryfall with 10 different versions of his art because he's phasing through time and stuff. So, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of phasing it back.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even plan that segue.
Yeah. I know. Which I don't remember what we guessed was going to be the old mechanic that's returning, but I don't think phasing ever would have been my answer.
No way.
Ever.
No.
2 blue, for 3 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Teferi, obviously. You may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi, Master of Time, on any player's turn, anytime you could cast an instant.
No, thank you.
Jeez.
Although that seems like a little bit of a fixed, I don't know. What am I trying to say? I hated the fact that little Teferi kind of did something that blocked other players from doing what they wanted to do in the game in a way that was kind of unintuitive and you forgot about it or whatever. And this way the onus is on who's ever playing Teferi to deal with it correctly.
+1, draw a card, then discard a card. Love me some card draw. -3, target creature you don't control phases out. Treat it and anything attached to it as though they didn't exist until its controller's next turn.
Bizarre.
One of my favorite things. And -10, take 2 extra turns after this one.
Okay, well, you've got a way to go to get to 10 on this bad boy.
It's true. Although it's you can plus it on both your turn and their turn, but that is still 5, not quite 5, but
you're 7. Right. Hold on, I didn't even realize that.
7 collective turns between the 2 of you, so 3 of your own turn, 4 of their turn.
I was just thinking of it 4
of your own turn, 3 of theirs.
Oh yeah, you can activate it if you want on their turn. I'm duh. then you get 2 activations.
Yeah. Like, because you can only activate it once per turn.
Oh my God.
But if you can activate it on their turn, that means that you can activate it once on yours and once on theirs.
I'm horrified. I'm horrified. It's official.
Oh, Maria's so upset.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared. But yeah, phasing is back, everybody. Welcome. If you haven't ever played with phasing, it can be pretty confusing, which
it's weird.
It is very weird. Is kind of a note to, I know that
it's there, but it's not
but
there.
But is it there? But isn't it there?
It's not.
But is it?
It's not.
But it is. Yeah. So
but it is.
R&D had been like playing with the idea, and they've been open about this of like, hey, we want to try increasing the complexity of sets and find out what happens. And I think this might be part of that experiment.
Yeah, agree. Phasing for sure adds complexity, just in terms of like baseline understanding of what's going on.
What happens with this card?
But lucky you all, we will have Judge Rob on.
Yay!
For a core set rules show in a couple of weeks. So we will get the lowdown on phasing.
Yeah, we'll try to phase into existence for this show.
You're not. We'll try and phase your knowledge into existence.
Yeah, there we go.
But make sure you don't phase out during the episode. Oh, we should stop.
Let me tell you about this card, which I believe to also be a planeswalker, even though it's not. Ready?
Oh, okay.
This is Elder Gargaroth. 3 green.
Oh, yeah.
For this mythic 6/6 beast. That's right, 5 mana for a 6/6. Vigilance, reach, trample, and that's not all. Whenever it attacks or blocks, choose one. You either get to make a 3/3 green beast creature token, you gain 3 life, or you draw a card. That is a planeswalker.
Dang. Yeah, it does have 3 modes.
It has 3 modes.
You can just choose them at random, though.
Yeah, so like, this card just reminds me of people like, this card is just dumb. Like, it's extremely powerful. And like,
it's extremely dumb.
Extremely dumb. And I think it's a planeswalker. And like, Garrick is like, what the heck? I'm supposed to be the green walker in this set.
No, the Elder Gargaroth is like, no, it me.
It me, though. It me.
It me. I can't really tell. Which part of this thing is it?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to look closer at the art and figure out what's going on.
Are those its tusks out the front?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes. It has 2 sets of tusks, it seems.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
It looks like we're looking at it in a nature documentary.
And then the Elder Gargaroth tramples through the woods in a magnificent display in a mating dance.
Yes. Precisely. I love while I'm looking through cards, I love the flame border on the bottom of these Chandra cards.
Ooh, they're great.
Yeah.
A+, big fan. Yeah, each one of the planeswalkers has their own sort of special style, which I think is cool for their vertical design cards that they have in the set, which means a planeswalker, they're uncommon, and they're commons that relate to them in the story or whatever, which is pretty cool. I wanted to briefly mention this one card that I was kind of excited about, which I don't know if it's just going to end up being nothing, but Indulging Patrician, I think the art of this card is one of my favorite arts that I've seen out of M21 so far. It's 1 black-white for a Vampire Noble. Flying lifelink, it's a 1/4. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, each opponent loses 3 life. And I just think this art is great. It's like a beautiful vampire lady in a pink dress with a full red moon and a splay of bats behind her.
Yeah.
And she's holding this guy that she's obviously just snacked on.
This art is very good. I want to see the cosplay of this.
Oh, the cosplay of this will be fantastic. Props
really,
to
really good.
Miranda Meeks, who is the artist here. She tweeted it out. I saw it the other day, and I'm like, yes, I am here for this art.
Yeah. It's very, very, very good.
Yeah, so I don't know. M21 is looking really, really sweet so far. Super powerful stuff happening. Oh, there's also, by the way, like a kind of mini Doomblade in the set in Eliminate, which is 1 in a black for an instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with CMC 3 or less.
Yeah.
kind of a Dingblade.
Oh yeah, we do have the Chandra. That's not the Planeswalker deck.
Oh,
Chandra.
do we have Chandra now?
So she's 3 red for a 5 loyalty. +1, discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way. +1, Chandra Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target. And -9, search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant and or sorcery cards, exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn, add 6 red mana.
Okay.
Great.
Wow. Chandra,
Yeah.
Heart of Fire, not messing around.
Nope.
I've got it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this set seems really powerful for a core set, which is a little
Yep.
unusual because that is a critique of core sets, is that they're boring, that they're not powerful enough, that they don't impact standard. Well, I have a feeling that's not going to happen this time around.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Agreed. We'll see. I feel like it's always so hard to know during a core set. Like we've wondered that in the past, and like sometimes it turns out to be true. It's like, oh, it is, like, I think Origins is one that we go back to a bunch of being like, that was a very cool format.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's just like, oh, it is really cool, but like also like the play style like is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's true. And we always say a core set is a great place to get somebody who you've been like wanting to teach the game into the game, because it's very straightforward. Generally, I mean, we've got phasing here, we've got protection in the set.
Yeah.
So like maybe we're off for rockers this time. But generally it is more simple than say like Ikoria, which was like pretty ding complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
As like an entry point or a learning point for somebody who wants to learn the game.
Yeah.
We have a preview card.
I'm excited.
By the way, not one but 2
Yeah.
preview cards coming out on Friday. So keep your
That's
eyes
right.
to our Twitter account at GLHF Magic when we'll be releasing those cards.
Sick.
Okay, human beings, we wanted to check in with Standard right now briefly after the companion rules change that rocked the boat the other week.
That's right. So there was a Red Bull Untapped in Germany and Spain last weekend, and we saw a lot of Teamer Reclamation in those top 8s.
Wow.
7 copies across the 2 top 8s.
Yep.
That is a lot. And I think it was something that some people kind of saw coming.
Yeah, we talked about this on our show last week, actually, or whenever we talked about it. Time has no meaning.
Time has no meaning.
The fact that Team Rec lost nothing, with these changes was pretty important. And here it is.
Like it was already good.
Yep.
And then you just kind of like mopped up all of the stuff that was around it.
You left the big pile of dirt on the floor. How could you, Watsy?
How could you? Like, not that Teamer Rec is a big pile of dirt.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it, though? Yeah, Team Rec won both of these tournaments, by the way, which are feeding a big finals later this year. And like you said, 7 copies. The other kind of dominating deck across these top 8s was Junt's Sacrifice, which
it's back.
Is back and maybe better than ever. I don't know. There was a total of 5 copies of Junt's Sacrifice across these 2 top 8s.
Yep, that is quite a few.
I hate this deck, and there, I said it. You know what? It feels good. It feels good to finally say it.
Tell us how you feel.
The amount of clicking and little damage done by the stupid cat oven combo, I wish it was gone forever.
It is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I hate it far more than Team Reclamation, actually. So, for people keeping track, the other decks in these top 8 were Azorius Control featuring Yorion. They're still playing it, of course. Gruul Aggro, which is nice to see, and Boros Cycling. Those are the
Boros Cycling still out there being like, we can do it.
Yeah, our Luris is way worse now, but not worse enough, I guess.
Lurises are way worse. Ursa's.
Yeah. There you go. Nailed
it's
it.
so warm in my apartment.
But like the positive news here is, if this is depressing to you, know that these players had very little chance to think about the format before they played these tournaments after the change.
That is true. It was like it was a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround. And too, like we've got coming up this weekend and next weekend, the regional players tours, which is what I think if there's going to be innovation, where we will see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, at worst comes to worst, we have the new core set coming out. Yeah. We have rotation just a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, and you know, people said don't expect big changes with these companion rules change, and that's entirely what we're seeing now. It's basically just kind of killed a couple of decks. Oh, sorry, I forgot Mono Red. Mono Red was also these top 8. One copy.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're not going to see big sweeping changes and new archetypes sweeping their way on in. Instead, we're just going to see decks that didn't get affected, like Team of Reclamation, like Jund Sacrifice, move up to the top and push down some of the other archetypes.
Pointing out kind of the format of like 6 months ago. Yeah,
that is a good point. Yeah.
So, you know, without fires, I guess. Fires was a big part of the format 6 months ago. Ooh.
But yeah, if you want to check out what's going to be happening in Standard, this weekend is a good place to check it out. There's going to be the regional players tours happening Saturday and Sunday all day long on twitch.tv/magic as the players battle it out there for a spot in the players tour finals, which will be coming up in a couple of months. This weekend that's happening and next weekend, round the clock coverage basically on those days, which is neat to see. And I am crossing my little phalanges over here for something exciting.
Same. What do you think's going to take it all down?
Team of Reclamation.
I was about to say the same. I was like, what's going to take it all down? The answer is just Team of Reclamation. Okay.
Right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, maybe Mono Red will, but I mean, I'm actually shocked that there's not more Mono Red in these top 8s. If I'm being real with you.
The thing is that like Team of Rec, like across 3 matches, is just able to shore up whatever it has difficulty with.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels like, you know, it's got a lot of tools at its disposal.
It's interesting because a lot of people were like, okay, so we're not going to play Obosh and Mono Red anymore. Whatever. We'll just go back to playing Embercleave. You know, that's the way we did it. That's the way my grandfather used to do it for centuries. It was good enough for him.
Embercleave's good enough for my grandfather. It's good enough for me.
And I think what's interesting to me here is like seeing it not have the performance this past weekend, at least. It's kind of like maybe people really underrated having your quote unquote Embercleave or your Torbrand quote unquote. I'm using quotes because I mean Obosh in your opening hand was way more beneficial than people gave it credit for.
Yeah, it's true. It was. I mean, like, it's very good.
You know what I'm saying? And like you couldn't play the Cleave in the Obosh decks, and now you can. And like they're like, oh, we miss you, Obosh. Come back,
Obosh, come back,
baby, come back. So, yeah.
I tried playing some mono black just to be like, is this still going to be a thing? And the answer is no.
But Meghan, we're gonna get Massacre Worm.
Oh, that's true. Okay. It's going to be a different kind of mono black, and I'm in for that.
I mean, seriously, can you imagine like Massacre Worm with Grey Merchant of Asphodel and Liliana?
I don't have to imagine it. I'm going to make it happen.
That would be so cool.
I'm going to live my life like that. It's going to be so cool.
Do you think they're going to print enough dogs? How many dogs are legal and standard right now? And cats?
There's a bunch of dogs and cats already in here, right? We have Basri's Acolyte. Let's see.
Everyone, Scryfall's great, okay? If you're not using Scryfall,
exactly.
Reevaluate your life.
Chandra's Magmut.
Oh, that's
Bolt
cute.
Hound. Let's see. There's the dog that we don't know the name for yet, but it's the 1-mana 1/1 that you can sacrifice to give something indestructible. You know, so there might be there's going to be cats and dogs in this set. You never know.
I'm searching how many cats we have in standard right now, which is 35. By
Dang,
the way,
that's like way more than I would have guessed. What about dogs?
Don't forget that Vadrock, Apex of Thunder, is a cat. That one mutate.
Oh wow, that's right. So many random things were cats. In Ikoria.
Okay, let's see how many. All right, so let's see if dog will work. I might have to use Hound actually. I was separating them out. I could search them both at the same time. But here we go. Hound, which I don't think we're going to have that many, but maybe I'll be wrong. Yeah, 6 cards are legal and standard with Hound right now.
Well, maybe there will be enough, though. Maybe there will be enough.
Maybe. Who remembers Bane Hound? Not me. Do you remember this card?
Hound. 1 mana, 1 black mana, 1/1 haste and lifelink.
Oh my gosh, you got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Sick.
That's exactly it. Bane Hound, Kurnos, Hound of Athreos. That's the only one I really remembered. Mowu, Loyal Companion, Pack Mastiff, Resolute
Mowu.
Watchdog, and Underworld Rage Hound.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah. Lots of graveyard dog.
Yeah. So cat dog deck, you know, we've got our eyes on you. And if you're going to put that card in your stinking set, make it so you can play the stinking deck.
Or else.
Or else.
Or else.
Well, everybody, that's this episode of Good Luck High Five. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for another week. We miss you in between the weeks, so it's great to be here with you again, even though we're in the past and you're in the future.
Wow. We're just like that movie, The Lake House?
Wow, I never thought I'd have to think about the lake house ever again in my life, but I was wrong.
That's the one, right? Where they're like at the same house at
Yes,
different
and they're getting
times,
mail. Yep. Mm-hmm.
but they send letters to each other?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Anyways.
Yeah.
There
So
you
thank
go.
you for being our lake house.
Thank you for being our lake house.
Remember, you can always become a patron over on patreon.com/GLHFmagic. Thank you so much. It means the world to us, everybody who does. And support our sponsor over on cardkingdom.com/GLHFmagic. And we've got a special deal for you here too.
That's right. We've talked a lot during the last couple of shows about like what you can do. And we've also thought about a lot about what we can do. And we realized like we've been talking for a little while about putting together a webinar to help people who want to learn how to podcast, like some resources, you know, that you can download, and then like a webinar where we can explicitly go over stuff.
Yeah.
And so for right now, we would like to say that if you are a Black, Indigenous, or person of color creator who is interested in podcasting, it does not have to be about magic. It can be literally on any topic in the world that you have been thinking about or wanting to start a podcast about. Please send us a message. You can tweet at us. You can message us on Facebook. You can send us an email. And we're going to provide you with those resources for free, and then also schedule some time where we can talk with you about any questions that you might have about podcasting. We want to lower the barrier of entry to podcasting so that we can get more diverse voices out there. And, you know, we feel like it's our responsibility, knowing a lot about it, to make sure that we're doing something to share that knowledge with our community.
Absolutely. I think podcasting is such an enormously awesome medium, and I'm so happy it exists. And the more people we can get in here, the better, and especially more diverse voices. So send us an email over at glhfmagic@gmail.com and let us know a little bit about your story, what you're hoping to learn, and we will get back to you if that's a form of communication you want to know. And
like we said, we can help you out with like literally just like logistics of like, hey, how do you do it? Like, what equipment do you need? What's the equipment that you can just get by with if you aren't able to spend anything on it? Like, where are you going to host it and post it? Host it and post it.
Host it and post it.
How can you like structure whatever the content is that you're making to make it, you know, interesting? So let us know. We want to help you.
So like, let's not like let whatever we've accumulated here like go to waste. Like, we want to help people. So let us know. And if you know even of somebody who might want to use this resource, tell them.
Obviously, we know mostly people in magic who are going to hear this message. But if you know people, again, like we said, in any field, if they, you know, want to make it about, you know, medicine, we can't help them with the topic, but we can help them figure out how to make a podcast. We are not a medical podcast. We have said it time and time again, but do you know what? If you want to make a medical podcast,
we will help you.
To help.
Thanks for listening again, everybody, this week. Stay safe out there. And you know what? Do what you can to leave your campsite a little cleaner than you found it.
That's right.